Hi everybody. This is an Arcane Bombardment deck that sandwiches two different archetypes together to let us get endless value out of both our spells and our permanents. So on the Arcane Bombardment side of things, we've of course got 4 Arcane Bombardment and 4 Burn Down the House to go along with 4 Big Score and a handful of instants that take care of some of our early game removal down here on the bottom. And then layered in between all that, we've got a few permanents in here in Spirited Companion as a 4 of, 3 copies of Fable the Mirror Breaker, and then 2 copies of Jaya Fiery Negotiator, and 2 of the Wandering Emperor. That goes all along with 3 Invoke Justice here. So what we can do is spend some of our early removal on aggressive creatures, play out a few Spirited Companions and Fables on our way kind of up the mana chain, maybe get in a Planeswalker or 2, and in the meantime, we can be discarding some of these extra things, or if perhaps our early doggo dies, or, the Fable kind of runs its natural life cycle, we'll have something to get back immediately on turn 5. Our white mana is great in this deck. We can pretty reliably cast this between our dual lands and our treasures. So in all, we've kind of got a mix of 2 different types of decks. I think one of the earliest Arcane Bombardment decks I made, we used that old Deadly Dispute, Shambling Ghast, Eye Twitch package, and we ended up running a lot more permanents, but they kind of interacted with our spells really nicely, so they can kind of go back and forth with one another. Well, this is sort of similar to that concept, and we can return our permanents with Invoke Justice, and we can reuse Invoke Justice with Arcane Bombardment, and it just kind of cycles around on itself really nicely. We did run into one game in particular where we actually landed Arcane Bombardment without a whole lot of spells in the graveyard, which is kind of a first for me, but for the most part, the deck ran pretty well, and I enjoyed imagining the looks on our opponents' faces when they kind of figured out what we were finally up to. With that said, let's get over and see a few of these games on the ranked standard ladder. I'll be with you for some commentary, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right. Let's give this a try. We've got Bombardment, we've got Invoke Justice, all of our colors. Nice to play a 2-color deck for a change. Opponent with an Evolved Sleeper. Okay. And a Loam Speaker. Alright, a little bit aggressive for a Golgari deck. And we're definitely not the fastest ourselves. I think what we need to do is get rid of one of these. I think it's Loam Speaker just to keep him on the slow side. Most of our removal is damage based, and if they start pumping out big things, we're going to be in trouble in a hurry. Opponent will put a counter on the Sleeper. Luckily, we can still remove that with a Lightning Strike here. I think that makes sense to do now. We can always put out the Spirited Companion next turn. Help us guarantee land number 5, and then if the Companion happens to perish, we can just hit it with Invoke Justice. Opponent with a Stylish Duress. The jig is up. They know what we're doing. Follows it up with Misery Shadow. Okay. So they know we're bombarding, so let's just, we'll play this pretty straight here. Companion draws us Fable, but no land. Oh, Duress again. 2 main deck Duress. That is somebody who's been burned by control decks a few too many times and is not having it. All right. Choices. We could doggo and draw the land. I think we gamble on it. Perfect. We were due. It was our time. Luckily, we draw the land there so we can Fable. We'll get in with our Spirited Companion number 1. Still a mana short on this Bombardment, and no way to activate it just yet. Opponent willing to make the trade here, so I'll see if they want to do that. Yep, they pump it up. They'll lose those creatures. That's okay. Kind of want those things off the board with Gix around. We can ditch one of these. Burn down the house. Okay. Sorry, just thinking. Think we can Jaya and make a monk. That gives Jaya a pair of blockers in case they want to get at her with Gix. Okay, Misery Shadow number 2. Opponent probably attacking here. Yep. No? Yes. But just going to the face. Let's throw a token in front of that. The Shadow's on the battlefield, so I don't want to exile our remaining doggo. We will flip our Fable over. Let's go taking a look at the top.
Eyes open.
Burn down the house and Fateful Absence. Well, I don't want to burn down the house on this board just yet. So let's Absence on the thing that's going to draw them more cards. We can kind of chump this Shadow for a little while, especially as we start. Ooh, I'm gonna get rid of our flipped Fable. So Shadow is a big chunk of damage, but it's not the worst problem we could be facing. Uh-oh. All right, Jaya could be in trouble here. Let's see what they do. All right, ends up attacking Jaya down. Now we're at 6 mana. Well, we can afford to burn this house down while they're tapped out and can't get their creature above 5 on the toughness ratio. Then we'll sack that clue token we generously gave them, and I think it's bombardment time. We're going to hold this land and cycle it in case we don't draw into another spell in the future, but now is the time that we turn to bombardment. Oh, you would, wouldn't you? First, the 2 main deck Duress, and then the Invoke Despair, which, no doubt, with my luck, drew you another Invoke Despair. Well, our opponent's at 13. This is where we kind of pivot to a little more aggressive strategy, I think. All right, well, there's the second Invoke Despair that they always draw into. We can sack a Devil, which at least makes them pay a little bit more for that. And our opponent's at 7. Ugh, just a land. All right, so for surprise damage-wise, we've got our opponent to 5. We could have Wandered there, but that only would have been an extra 1. I think setting this up so that we can flash in the Wanderer, we might be able to sneak in a victory here, assuming they don't have the any more burn here. If they run Corrupt, I don't know if they run enough swamps for that. Okay, okay. Okay, no, wait. All right, I think we can survive this. Do we make the creature? Yes, we make the creature. All right, so the Wanderer is going to die, but that saves us 2 damage. So, Devil. Wanderer down. We take 2 and go to 1. That's 1 to you. And can you answer these creatures? Gix, that's a blocker, but you're dead. Oh, no. Good game. All right. Well, this looks keepable here. We got a Boros Arcane Bombardment deck. Kind of mixes the sort of Reanimator Invoke Justice style with Arcane Bombardment. Really weird play patterns with this deck, but it's pretty fun to figure out all the different options that it gives us when we play with a few more permanents than we usually do. We get Fable going here. Best thing we can probably be doing on 3. Opponent on some Jund colors. I was about to say, is it Golgari Day over here? Into an early Flesh Gorger. So now we get to decide if we want to discard. We're not ready for Invoke Justice, so that can be at least one thing that we get rid of. Let's pyre this down. It's going to cost us some life, but ultimately it's for the best. Hopefully they can't revive it for a few turns. A lot of our opponents like to reanimate that and get the full price version on the cheap. Is Treasure going to help us cast Burn Down the House or Invoke Justice should we need it? Big score. Are you Bombardment? I haven't seen enough spells for that yet. Jund Bombardment is actually a pretty decent color combination, so... Let's see. Let's make some devils then. And get in. Make another treasure. Seeing those cards makes me want to kind of press the gas a little bit, speed things up. See if they can handle this board. And they can, apparently. All right. Titan of Industry. Good thing to be big scoring into for our opponent. So they'll use the enchantment removal to get rid of our flipped Fable. Let's see if we can bait him into blocking. All right. Well, that lines up just well enough where we could burn the house down. So let's point this extra damage at our opponent. Do 5 to everything. And without those treasures, hopefully we're safe from a follow-up big play. 2 more damage to the opponent, getting him down to 8. We've got a backup burn down the house. Cruelty. Oh, no. Okay, so they opt to start at 1. We discard Jaya because of it, but... Let's see. Okay. So they're actually going to be at 6 next turn because they have to do the Grim Tutor on number 2, right? Yeah, that's not a May. So if we burn down the house here, we're going to get them dangerously low. All right, that'll take him to 6. Tutor takes him to 3 automatically, and they have to wait another turn before Cruelty will reanimate that Titan for them. So we could squeak this one by. Okay, Flesh Gorger. If that touches something, it's going to gain him 7. Oh, no, I think we got this. Cathartic Pyre, our own devil. So the Flesh Gorger touches nobody. And 3-2 to face. Good game. Oh my. All right, back here with another one. We're doing Invoke Justice in an Arcane Bombardment shell. We got good mana, we got early removal, Fables for days. Fables for 1 day. Not that many days. Opponent running a Foundry. So this could be... Alright. This could be soldiers, but I'll reserve judgment. Been seeing some Azorius artifact lists, things with Tezzeret. Okay. So definitely soldiers. Never mind. Well, let's save a little bit of damage. Get rid of that Lord. Land number 3 into Fable for sure. Untapped land here will enable us to burn down the house early if we really want to. We'll see how wide the opponent decides to go this turn. All right. It's deja vu all over again as our opponent replays the Soldier Lord. No blocks from us. I think this shaman needs to survive at least a turn. Get in and give us a treasure token as we draw Bombardment, but no lands. So let's get rid of these permanents. See if we can go on our Invoke Justice early Bombardment strategy a little bit. Oh, if we had picked up an untapped land there, we would be invoking out something fun right now. Dog for the draw. I think we dog again. We're at the point where if these dogs have to chump block, then we can get them back with Invoke Justice. They're not the worst targets. I think we could get in here. Let's see. Yeah, I think can't make a good case for not getting in there. Also nice to have creatures on the board for when we do Invoke Justice. If we have to hit an enchantment with it, it's nice to have a creature already there to absorb those counters that we get for free. Okay, so making the team big. coming at us with 9, so that's a good chump block opportunity. We're going to flip over our Fable. Now we're at 5 mana. We've got dogs and a bombardment down there to invoke. Well, hold on. All right, definitely getting in here. I think what we need to do... Oh, hold on. Let's make sure we can do this. All right. It's... It's a little risky. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a little risky, but we've got at least one blocker left over here. Ugh. Now I'm feeling bad about that decision. All right, opponent with a opponent with a couple of things here. More soldiers all around. Decides to not attack at all. Well, thank you, Kiki, for being so intimidating. I was worried they were going to remove you and get in at us. So now, all right, we can afford to do this. We're going to copy the shaman. We're going to get in and get some free treasures. Because as I'm sure you can guess by now, what happens next is going to be a burn down the house for 5 damage. That's fine. Very few of these choices matter based on what's coming down the pike, but going to be able to draw with that flying soldier over there. Burn down the house. We pick up Cathartic Pyre, which situationally not the greatest, but you know what? We can actually get rid of this land without spending our treasures. Wipe the board, give us a clean slate for next turn. And these 3 damage burn spells should keep us safe from a lot of stuff. Oh, good old Thalia. All right. Well, at least we can afford to pay the tax, as it were. Siege Veteran. Sure. Puts a counter. Let's go ahead and pyre away Thalia. Now, the bad thing about Thalia still basically existing right now is that we can't cast anything else out from under bombardment because she would still make us pay the 2, or sorry, pay the 1, since she's still alive to tax the bombardment copies. All right, let's Jaya. Monks are going to be fantastic, but you know, we might need to get something off the top here. And we've got so much burn under bombardment. We needed instance there, deck. Oh, I thought we hadn't played a land yet. Gotta pay better attention to that. Hindsight should have picked up the dog for sure. All right, well, now Jaya is vulnerable, but she could be a sink for some damage, save our life a little bit, and we've got enough stuff tucked up under bombardment that we can start picking off these creatures one by one. So our opponent is in the tank, taking a nice long think. Okay. Sorry, unrelated. Hold on, we're going to resolve some stuff here, and then that's a little story time. Lightning Strike, opponent's face. We pick up Justice. And I think there's stuff down there we can Justice. So let's do that first. Let's see. I'll just get a Spirited Companion. I think this on Devils, and then Cathartic Pyre to hit the Veteran. Devils are created, Justice is invoked, and we can sort of spread these counters out thanks to ordering it properly. Okay. So while Jaya exiles some things off the top, I think I recognize our opponent's name. I've faced them a couple of times in the past. They may even be in a video. I don't know. But I remember them being very willing to time out on an opponent. So while we... Yep, there it goes. Okay. Well, while they time out, let's reach into the mailbag real quick. I often get asked on the channel, what are you going to do when Arcane Bombardment rotates? And to that I say, it's not rotating. What are you talking about? No, we'll keep playing it. We'll keep playing it. It's going to be an Explorer. It's going to be an Historic. I love that card. We'll keep playing it as long as we can. But, could be some new things coming out. Look forward to finding the next card that I fall in love with in the next sets. All right, well, let's call it there. Good game. All right. Back here with Boros Arcane Bombardment, mixed in with Invoke Justice. We can't be defeated, only mildly slowed down. Opponent with a farm hand, seeking new lands, picks up a plains for our opponent. Speaking of plains, we'll get down one of our own plus a Spirited Companion. Opponent with a Welcoming Vampire, so no doubt going to start drawing lots of cards unless we can start wiping things away with a Burn Down the House. But the thing I love about Vampire is that it basically refills their hand, so they get no penalty for overcommitting to the board. So while we will be able to clear this out eventually, they're probably just bringing in reinforcements behind it. So we will see what we can do. Probably have to reuse it with Arcane Bombardment to keep control of this one. Speaking of Arcane Bombardment, too many copies of that. We will ditch both of those because we're holding 2 Invoke Justice if we really need them. Let's see. Yeah, I think we can actually get in with the Shaman. That'll give us a treasure. And 1, 2, that is enough to Invoke Justice. Opponent tapped out, not playing blue, no reactions. Let's go ahead and invoke out Bombardment. Targeting us, of course. We will spread out some tokens. And Bombardment is online. Didn't even have to big score for that one. That's a freebie. Opponent's still going wide. Luminarchs, triggers from the Vampire. Filling up the hand behind them. Oh, lay down arms on the token. Great removal card to run when you've got all those planes. Okay. Alright, well unfortunately, no untapped land means we're waiting a little bit longer to burn down the house. Really do need to wipe this board. These vampires are going to finish us. So we could play with fire something here, or we could just wait. And I think we just wait. Big score going to pick us up some extra cards. Opponent seems hesitant to attack just yet. We're probably just going to take 4 from these vampires. All right, as they get down a recruitment officer, it's going to let them fish for even more off the top of the deck as they pick up 2 more cards. Lay down arms on the flipped Fable. That is just... I mean, lay down arms is great, but that's also a testament to how good Fable is, and that opponent's willing to spend 2 removal cards on just our 1 card that generates so much value on its own. So Farmhand going to transform here. Looks like they're getting ready to attack. Nope, changing our mind on the Luminarchs there. Let's big score and see what the Arcane Bombardment gods can give us. The best thing. Burn down the house for 5. That's an easy pickup, an easy choice from us. Just discarding that offhand since we had 2 on the off chance that that's what we pick up, and we did. That was very lucky on our part. Well, this is a sorcery. Let's make some devils. Pick up a big score. Get rid of this mountain. And make another trio of devils for ourselves. As we pick up a lightning strike. We've got instants for next turn. Anything else we can do right now that's going to be helpful? We could invoke perhaps, but I'd rather save that. Let's get a dog going. We got plenty of mana for instants still on our next turn. Sure. All right. That's too much. Good game. Okay, this is okay. We've got enough Spirited Companions. I think we can draw ourselves into our Fables and our untapped lands that we need to get up to Invoke Justice territory. Deck does not like that. Says here, have another Arcane Bombardment, and we draw into a Wandering Emperor. Opponent with a Bankbuster and an early Conscript appears to be a more aggressive mono-black deck. Well, lucky for us, we've got all the chump blockers we could need, finally picking up these extra lands. We'll just hang back for the moment. If they get to, not invoke, if they get to crew up that Bankbuster, we might jump it. Nope, just drawing right now. Okay, Okiba Reckoner Raid is a surefire sign that this is the aggro version of mono black. And us with land number 4. We can send a dog in. We kind of would like a permanent in the graveyard for Invoke Justice. No blocks. Reckoner Raid happens. They hit 4 and perfectly timed Shieldred. Okay, it's going to do us a little damage probably before we can get rid of that. Oh, they decide to crew up the Bankbuster. Let's just chump that. We'll get a companion in the graveyard, and it's just tapped, right? Yeah, it doesn't have to be attacking. We will just exile Shieldred. Probably saved us a good chunk of damage there. As we lay down land number 5, we are, I think, yeah. This will get Invoke Justice down there, and we can start reusing it as soon as we land this bombardment, hopefully in the next couple of turns. And we'll just make these dogs nice and sizable. Go ahead and put a token on one of them, and we'll get in. I don't think the Reckoner Raid has haste, but it will have menace for next turn, so... Opponent drawing with the Bankbuster. Grasps our creature. Alright, so Wanderer is down. But Bombardment is here, and we've got 3 spells in our hand. I think Invoke Justice is... It may be the only thing down there. Oh, no! Always with the Invoke Despair. Come on now. Alright, opponent hits us for 4. Let's try this again. See if we can make this stick. Opponents notoriously draw into the second Invoke Despair, but that appears to not be the case this time. They just lay down Shieldred and Tenacious Underdog. Cruise up the Bankbuster, and we get hit for 8. Shieldred going to take us to 3, unless we want to get rid of it now. What's down there? Alright, so here's the deal. Lightning Strike activates Bombardment. We pick up Invoke Justice. We invoke the Wandering Emperor. Unfortunately, nothing to put our counters on. But think of it as an investment. We will hit Shieldred again with Play with Fire. I know that's 2 cards. Desperate times and all that. Okay. We got another Wanderer. So we can exile another thing. Let's get rid of the underdog for 2 more life. And that's not going to be able to blitz back on us. And what do we got down there? Lightning Strike, Play with Fire, a couple of dogs. Trespasser. Ugh. Looking for Bombardment. Well, we could have tried to respond to that, but we've already got a Bombardment going. I don't think it's a huge deal for us. Another underdog. This time blitzed from the hand, I think. Screws up the Bankbuster. Loads of damage at this point. All right, we've got a Lightning Strike, an Invoke Justice under there, and some burn in the graveyard. We've got a Play with Fire and a Lightning Strike, so 2 and 3 respectively. It's 50-50 on that. Let's think this one through here. And I think Invoke Justice can pick up a dog for us as a blocker, and we can slap some counters on it. So, what to Lightning Strike? Definitely the underdog. It prevents the most damage, and it will just eliminate 1 creature. Lightning Strike from the grave. I guess this Reckoner Raid because it has Menace, and then we'll pick up a dog. Counters go on the dog, make it a 4/4, and it will draw us a card. And that Trespasser's not attacking, it just screwed up the Bankbuster. Okay, so we're looking at just the Conscript and the Bankbuster. I think we will trade here with the Bankbuster. That's something that's more difficult for us. Oh, and that's just too much. All right. Good game.